I don't know if you guys are excited or not, but a brand new installment in the Aliens franchise is set to release this weekend. And brother, it's gonna do something, I guess. And now we have the first look announcements and the first look reviews of it. And well, not great. Not great, okay? Hearing a lot of things that, yeah, no, it's fun as long as you turn off your brain. Stop me if you've heard this before with every other film this year. Oh, it's good, you just don't want to think about it too much, and then the plot falls apart. And yeah, it's just a lot of key jangles, but it's fun. It's fun. Why don't you like anything? Why are you so critical about stuff? That's going to be the talk of the town coming out of this weekend. And like I said before, you know, it was aiming to be the third best Aliens film. It probably will be by sheer virtue of the low bar that the franchise has already set for itself, because the creatives behind this franchise really haven't done it service in a very, very, very long time. Speaking of which, the original mind behind the series, Ridley Scott, who, oh dear Lord, what he's going to be doing to Gladiator at the end of the year, I don't think I'm ready for this, but Ridley Scott was hugely relieved when first watching Alien Romulus, but gave notes that made Fede Alvarez punch the door. Yeah, probably because they were so brain dead stupid, because I don't know if you guys seen this thing, okay? Joaquin Phoenix was ready to move on. He was ready to leave the Napoleon Project. Paul Thomas Anderson came in and did some rewrites on the script, because that's what you heard, right? Like, it was not even close to being historically accurate, even though it was supposed to be a biopic. That sounded like a horrific set to work on. And we've also heard about the production hell that Gladiator II has been in, and I still can't believe that that's a real thing. But this is a guy who, like many other creatives who have come back to old franchises, have just simply lost it. We knew this with Prometheus, which is how old at this point in time? And now we're here in 2024 with another installment in a franchise that really has two good films. Unbelievable. After directing the first Alien in 1979 and then returning in 2012's Prometheus and 2017's Alien Covenant, let it die. Ridley Scott has now passed the baton to Fede Alvarez for Alien Romulus, while still giving a few notes. After the Romulus premiere in Los Angeles on Monday, Scott, who is a producer on the project, told The Hollywood Reporter that when Alvarez showed him the movie the first time, I was hugely relieved that it was potentially a huge film, and I just said, I don't have to take a note, but I'll tell you what I think. The filmmaker explained that he wrote down notes instead of saying them aloud to Alvarez, and then he reads them privately, kicks the wall, punches the door, and then comes back out and says that those were good notes. Scott also made the suggestion to cut down the film, noting directors tend to make it too long. Right. How long was Napoleon again, and what's the runtime for Gladiator? A suggestion. Noting that it was a long, so you don't have to lose your dynamic. The dynamics in the movie are everything, and he had so much going on, he didn't need so much, which is kind of interesting given the other once brilliant mind behind the other half of the successful Alien duology, James Cameron. We know that he's been, working on Avatar. What is it? Fire and Ash is going to be the third one that comes out in 2026. It's going to make $2 billion and nobody's going to talk about it. It's crazy that just the cultural irrelevancy that franchise has, even though it's made collectively, $5 billion? It's so crazy. But anyways, he was talking about Avatar, Alien Romulus, and whales in a spicy chat, because this interview, it touched on a bunch of things, including Alien and Aliens, the new movie and the old one. So damn right I'm overbearing. And that's been, if you want to know how a legendarily overbearing James Cameron is, just check out what was happening on the set of The Abyss, okay? Gotta love James Cameron. Used to. When he's the most James Cameron. He hasn't been that in 25 years. The Oscar-winning writer, producer, director got on the phone to talk about his new National Geographic documentary, Ocean Explorers, and from there we branched out on a host of other Cameron-verse topics. This week's release of Romulus, Netflix's upcoming animated series, Terminator, don't. Avatar 3, yes, Avatar Fire and Ash, and the recent 4K transfer of Aliens and True Lies, Roland Emmerich's viral comments about a Fantastic Voyage reboot, and why Cameron doesn't believe extraterrestrial life has visited Earth. I don't really care about a lot of that stuff, but kind of want to see what he's talking about Terminator, because just like Aliens, there's only 2 Terminator films. And realistically, there's only two Terminator projects. I hear good things about the Sarah Connor Chronicles, but honestly, I haven't seen a second of that. And that was a long time ago at this point in time. But no, nothing I see about this anime-inspired Terminator project leads me to believe that this is going to be any good. Touching on some other things in your filmic universe, this week we have Alien Romulus opening, a film you have seen. Oh, okay, so we seen, or rather heard from Ridley Scott that he offered Fede Alvarez a couple of notes. What was James Cameron's input onto this? Okay, what did you think of it? Alvarez has previously said that Cameron has seen the movie and loved it, and that he gave notes. Okay, cool. Well, what's his input in this? Okay, I saw a rough cut 6 months ago. I'm sure it's changed a lot. I viewed it once. I gave some notes to Fede Alvarez. He and I aren't close pals. I mean, I wish him the best with it, but I think it's been overstated that I have some big creative input on that film. I think Ridley did because Ridley is an actual producer on the film, so I'm just putting in some perspective. But he loves it, guys. It's going to be great. Oof. Another upcoming project that expands on your work. Just moving right along from that because that's a contentious issue. You've previously done is Netflix's Terminator 0 animated series. I'm curious what you have seen. That one by chance. It looks interesting. My relationship is that it is very much like Sarah Connor Chronicles. Why is that so difficult to say? But okay, other people spinning stories in a world I set in motion is interesting to me. And what's their takeaway? What intrigued them about it? See, I would be more excited in your inquisitive nature to your franchise if you didn't sign off on Genesis and Dark Fate. How you decanonized, Judgment Day in the first two films with Dark Fate. God. Oh, I'd be curious to see what they've come up with. I'm working on my own Terminator stuff right now. Yeah, it's something. He's working on a Terminator project. Just stop already. I've got nothing to do with that. Okay, so he's got nothing to do with the anime. Might be good then. Like the Sarah Connor Chronicles. They occasionally touched on things that I've been playing with completely independently. So there's some curiosity there. It's not a burning curiosity, but obviously it's nice. It would be nice to see it succeed. Yeah, exactly, because you're going to need all the help that you can get if you're developing another Terminator movie. Like, Christ almighty, what? Arnie's pushing 80. There's a finite amount of blood that you can try to squeeze out of that stone. What's your Terminator stuff that you're working on? I wasn't aware of that. It's totally classified. I don't want to have to send out potentially dangerous robotic agent. Oh yeah, if we were to talk about it even retroactively. But yeah, long story short about the Fantastic Voyage movie, Roland Emmerich said that, James Cameron was overbearing, and there's no truth to a potential reboot. But the big main event, what is coming out of this stuff, which is just so insane, given his autistic detail that he pours into Avatar, okay? Like, I can't believe that this is a thing. You also had recently the transfers of Aliens and True Lies to 4K that came out. Now, it did get blowback in the fan community, some feeling that the image quality wasn't high or as high as they wanted it to be. I heard some speculation on this, okay, of people who have the Aliens 4K, and, well, the visual fidelity it's just bad, okay? The AI interpolation that adds the extra pixels to upscale it to 4K really, really muddied the visuals in the background. Made the foreground look fine, like everything looks fine up front in the camera, but in the background, ooh yeah, you got some amorphous blobbing. And then you also have some additional scan lines. It's not a pristine, it's not, Lord of the Rings 4K extended editions, okay? It's not quite at that high level. I would hazard to say, not a very good transfer, at least from what I hear, okay? So obviously, you have a very high standard. Yeah, exactly. Like, James Cameron has been known as being incredibly meticulous when it comes to every aspect of his film, wanting people to experience it the way that he films it, from the Titanic to the Terminator, to True Lies to Aliens and everything in between. And especially, like, it goes without saying, the visual fidelity of Avatar is the only thing that's memorable about that franchise. He's kind of him when it comes to pristine visuals in Hollywood. So what's his take on this? When people start reviewing your grain structure, they need to move out of their mom's basement and meet somebody. Oh my God, he's calling fans incels. We've got to this point with James Cameron. What was it in the lead up to Avatar when he was saying toxic masculinity and testosterone is a poison to the body that needs to be excised? Now he's calling them incels. I mean, seriously, are you kidding me? I've got a great team that does the transfers. Oh, that's nice. It's like, well, we've seen their work. Apparently they're not that great. I do all the color and density work. I look at every shot, every frame, and then the final transfer is done by a guy who has been with me for years. All the Avatar Avatar films are done that way. Yeah, but we're talking about Aliens and True Lies here. You know, films that people actually remember you for. Everything is done that way. Get a life, people. Seriously. Yeah, I did a bad job on something. Stop calling me out on this. But this is the tact that people are taking, and this is the respect of the creatives behind one of the most prolific action series of all times. Okay, yeah, we don't care. We don't care that one of the seminal action films in Aliens looks like a sludgy mess on 4K. Ridley Scott doesn't care that he continues to add to the theming pile of shite in the aftermath of Alien and Aliens. He has other franchises that he's worked on that he needs to ruin the legacy of. But this is yet another stark reminder that in Hollywood, you never want to meet your heroes, especially when they start to age, because it never has it been more obvious. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And just like athletes, okay, once they start to age, they start to lose a step. With creatives, you don't know when, you don't know where, but eventually they're going to lose it. And James Cameron, well, I think we can probably pinpoint that at about 2009 when he thought that Avatar was going to be the next best thing. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.